Hey guys, welcome to Hump Day. It is day 3 of our Arise to the Top 4-year celebration. I am so excited to be here with you guys on day 3. Today we are talking about business credit, and so we're going to go over the basics and the basis of business credit and getting funding for your company. Um, we have a lot in store for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, Daniel will be coming on with Work at Home Equipment Solutions to talk about tech and the Arise IBO. And Friday, we will be doing our wrap up. Now, tomorrow is huge because at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we are doing our annual 2022 Become a Successful IBO online seminar. So I know a lot of you have rewatched the ones over the past few years. We are doing a new one tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Zoom link for that will be posted below this video. So today is October 20th, just in case you watch the video after. October 21st, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern is the annual 2022 Become a Successful IBO seminar. It'll be similar to the ones that you guys have watched previously that were recorded, but new information, of course, for new times. So let me share my screen and we are going to get started. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey, Crystal. So for those of you that have done classes with me, you know I'm not that great at multitasking when it comes to PowerPoints and reading chats. So as we're going along, feel free to put your comments in the chat box and then I will circle back and read any of the questions that you have periodically. Hey guys. Hey Pierre. And then don't forget, showing up today puts you in the contest for our YouTube Live prize today. All right, let's get this screen shared. You guys know I like to get to the point. All right. Okay. So we're going to go over, I said, the basics and the foundations as an IBO, setting up your company to build your business credit successfully. First, we'll go over a few vocabulary words for it, and then we will get right into it. Are you guys all able to see my screen? 7. Oh, you had your session with Pia? Yeah, she is amazing. All right. So this, what we're discussing today is you building the credit without using a PG, which is a personal guarantor, which is pretty much like you co-signing. This would be you building the credit standing for it to stand alone. Now, there are a few different ways that you can build credit. If you have a really good credit, like 720-ish, 730 or higher, then it may be more advantageous for you to get some of the things you're looking for with UPGing. It will just really depend on the type of credit and funding you're looking for and what you're looking to do with it. If you're looking to set up like trade accounts to be able to get things off of like Amazon, Quill, there's a ton of different ones, Home Depot, Staples, that type of stuff, then not PGing is definitely the way to go for that because you can easily build those gas cards and stuff like that. But if you're looking for real financial backing, like you're trying to go through a bank, or certain lenders, then you may have to PG those. Generally, you will. And a lot of the business credit cards, most of them, you will have to PG. All right. So before we hop in, we're going to discuss a few terms that we'll talk about today. The first one being your DUNS number. Your DUNS number is pretty much just the number that's identifying your business entity with the business credit, pertaining to business credit. It's done with Duns and Bradstreet. It is not your EIN number. A lot of people get that confused. So you'll want to know the difference between your DUNS and your EIN. Your EIN is tied to the IRS for tax purposes. Your DUNS number is tied to Duns and Bradstreet for credit reporting purposes. Now, your DUNS number, you'll apply for a DUNS, but there's a chance that if your business is really more than a couple of months now, I've seen businesses hop in DUNS almost a month later, that there's a chance that you may already have a DUNS number and just not know. So you'll need to go to the Duns and Bradstreet website and first search for your business. Before you start applying for anything, search for your company to make sure you don't already have one to claim. All right, other terms for you to know. Net 30, that's a payment agreement term. Pretty much you're able to place orders and purchase things with your company, and you have an agreement to pay for the items within 30 days. Now, net 30 was just an example I used. It could be net anything. It could be 7, 10, 20. Whatever number is after the word net is your payment term. So if it's net 7, then you're paying it 7 days after your invoice generates. If it's net 20, you're paying it 20 days. Net 90, 90 days. Paydex score is a term used by Duns and Bradstreet, and that's your numerical score that's granted to you. It's your credit score. So think FICO for businesses is pretty much what it is. PG, as I just told you, that's a personal guarantee. That's pretty much you co-signing and agreeing with the creditors that you will personally be liable for the business's debt. I always tell people, as much as you can, don't PG. Some things, depending on what you're doing, though, you can't really avoid it unless financially your company is in a way larger tax bracket. And I mean like 7 figures larger and up. And even the 1 million mark sometimes is just a baseline starting point to where they'll start possibly considering no PGs for some companies. But that's what PGing is. And then we've done DUNS. The major 3 credit bureaus, reporting agencies that are most pulled and checked are DMB, Equifax Small Business, and Experian Small Business. Now, these are not Equifax and Experian Personal. This is a totally different division within them. There are, I think I've seen 12 to 15 agencies, but these are the most common that you'll see they'll pull from in order to get your business credit scores. All right, so let's get started. And let me check the chat. All right, we're good to go. I'm gonna check the chat every so often. All right. So in order to start building your business credit before you start making purchases or doing anything like that, you really need to make sure the foundation of your company is set up correctly. When I talk about foundation, I mean like website. And of course, you guys, as I stated, these are baselines. There are ways to build the credit differently, but nothing that the masses could follow. So when I say credible website, immediately people are like, oh, I got this without a website. It can happen, but these are the things that you just need to go ahead and do. So it'll increase the chances of you going through and getting approved the first time. So to build your business credit, you want to make sure you have a credible website. It could be a landing page. It could be a full website. You just want to have a URL to give them with something that looks legitimate and credible. You want to have a phone number, a business number, 800 number ideally. It's slowly moving to where 800 numbers are not necessarily as big of a deal as they used to be. But there's a lot of companies that still operate within the older realms, and 800 numbers have always been a plus. You can get them very inexpensively. Phone.com, GoDaddy, Grasshopper. There's several. And if you're on our subscribers list, your wrap-up email tomorrow will have the PowerPoint as well as some other resources for you building your business credit. Just kind of names of companies that you can use and stuff like that. So you'll want to have that number. A legal business entity. Now, yes, you can be a sole proprietor and build business credit. You definitely can, but it's a lot easier for you to do if you're LLC or incorporation, something like that, an actual legal business entity. It's a lot easier. So you want to have that. And since this segment is specifically for IBOs, all of you should have that. An online presence. So social media pages, your website, if you're on Yelp, claiming your business on Google and Bing. All of that stuff will help with getting your online presence going. So you want to be able to type your name in Google, your company name, come up. So, sorry, let me go to the chat box. All right, IBOs don't have to service, only manage. No, IBOs don't have to service. You can start with the regular LLC. With the RISE, their rules are generally they want you to be an S or a C Corp. So you can be an LLC and then file for either your S or C Corp. Hey, Taran. How can you get a mentor? That we have, it just kind of depends. If you're looking for one-on-one group, we have the Business Buddy program. There's a few different ways that you can go about gaining mentorship for your IBO. All right, so the goal is an 80 PAYDEX score on Duns and at least a 70 on Experian. 80 is pretty much saying that you pay your bills on time. In order to see your scores, you'll want to set up a free account on nav.com, and that's NAV as in Victor.com. They have a free membership that you can see your DUNS scores. You can actually see one of your personal credit scores as well. And they also have a paid membership that can help you build credit, which we'll talk about momentarily. When you start the process, you'll want to keep a record of all of your vendor accounts so that you can update them. If you have to change your address, if you move, if you have to update phone number, it's hard to kind of go back later and guess who all you have an account with. So if you guys downloaded the planner that we emailed you or downloaded it out the Facebook group, there's a page called List. You can actually use that to write your vendors on there. I have a folder that I bookmark and keep all the accounts that I have in my folder on my computer. There's a few really good business credit groups. Get Business Credit, their Facebook group, I think is probably one of the most popular with Ty, and he's really good and really helpful. And you can actually, I know he has opportunities for you to partner with him and then offer services to sell business credit services as well. So that's another additional income opportunity that you could have. All right, so to get your DUNS number, you'll want to go to this Duns and Bradstreet site. And like I said, you'll get a copy of this PowerPoint and some other information in the email wrap up. But when you go to the DUNS site, you'll have, there's two options. You can go through the DUNS site, but there's also a federal version and the difference is with the federal one, it's made for people who are wanting to do government contracting and maybe need their DUNS sooner. So you get your DUNS the next day, opposed to having to wait up to 30 days going through the regular DUNS site. Now, they're really working a lot quicker than they used to, so it's not usually 30 days. But the federal route can get you your DUNS number quicker. There's not a penalty if you get it through the federal portal and don't get a government contract tomorrow. I get that question often. Again, before you do that, though, you'll want to Google and just kind of make sure you don't already have a DUNS number. Oh, yeah. After you sign up with Duns and Bradstreet to get your DUNS number, they're going to start calling and stalking you like crazy. It's almost going to be like the car warranty people, but not as intense. You do not have to buy anything for them to build your business credit. They're going to try to sell you packages and all that stuff. If you just want to spend your money, I'm open to taking it. And I can still build the credit for you too. All right, I'm going to check chat. All right, do you guys have any questions about Duns and Bradstreet or anything like that before I push forward? No. All right, we're going to keep going. All right, so while you're waiting for your DUNS number to come back, this will be the time that you'll build your online presence. As I told you guys earlier, yp.com, it's Yellow Pages. You're going to want to claim your listing on Google and Bing. Those websites for that will be in the email as well. put your social media pages up. That's when you need to get your domain and websites. Go ahead and get your 800 number. Literally, all of these things can be done within a 24-hour period, except possibly the website. And if you go through like a website builder, it can be done that same 24-hour period too. Business emails. So it won't take a lot for this. Now, it'll take, a little while for it to register within Google, but all of it can be done relatively quickly. After you get your business phone number, you need to go to listyourself.net, and you can do it through their free version and put it and get your number registered within the 401 directory. So after you do your number, go to listyourself.net. When you claim your company on Google and Bing, I always say, hey, put it out on your page. Like, if you guys have ever used my service, or put it within your agents and ask them for reviews. They can put reviews on your pages as well. Reviews and testimonials. Any questions about how you can build your online presence and what's needed for that? I have an LLC, but it's set up for e-commerce. Can I make it the main company and then either add this business? So that's going to depend on, number one, your state and the laws, and or number two, what you're really trying to do. What I tell people when they talk about having one LLC and branching off multiple businesses, DBAing, that kind of thing, is you kind of want to umbrella the businesses that make sense together. So like Johnson & Johnson, their umbrella, they have a Vino and other products that make sense together under their umbrella. But you don't want to have like a car company and then your IBO umbrella together, because you have to be conscious of the legal ramifications that can occur. So if something happens with one of the companies and it's all under the same umbrella, they're all open to that legal liability, all the companies that are under that umbrella legally. So you want to think about those things too. But again, you'll want to check the states to kind of see the protections and the benefits of umbrellaing the company, and just see if it makes sense to umbrella them. All right. All right. Before you start trying to do anything with building credit, this is the must-haves that you need before you go to the next step, or you will find yourself getting very declined and very frustrated. You still might get declined even after having some of this stuff, depending on your profile, but this will help circumvent some of those declines. Your online presence. You want to have that online presence going. When you search in the company name on Google, you want to take up at least a couple of the slots of the first page. So your 800 number and having it listed in the 411 directory through listyourself.net is the easiest way to do it. You want to have your website. Like I said, a landing page would work. Website builder template will work. You just want to have something attached to your domain name. Your DUNS number, like I told y'all before, search it out. Make sure you don't have one. If you don't have one, go ahead and apply. Both of these links will be in your wrap-up email. When you're doing your DUNS account, there's a few things that you'll want to know doing that. Number one, they're going to want you to submit verification. So the addresses that are on your legal documents will have to match whatever address you're trying to put on your DUNS account, or else they're going to kick it back and decline you. The next thing is they have a slot for you to put your income in. Under the slot, it tells you that you can put your pretty much your anticipated income as well if you're a newer business. You just have to remember that you're building business credit. So you want people to trust to lend to you. Don't go and say you just started and you anticipate making $1 million this year, unless you really do. I wouldn't do that. But it's not crazy to anticipate to make, 70, 80, $100,000 your first year, depending on your business. But as an IBO, it's not crazy to anticipate that, and, let them know that that is what you're expecting to make. But don't go on there and put zero. I had a few IBOs that did that, and I don't know why, because I told them the same thing I just told you. And well, it didn't go well for them. So for the companies that actually review the profile of your DNB and not, they will look at that. It'll also ask you about if you're a home-based business. Before, it was more frowned upon. You can still build business credit being a home-based business now. A lot of people ask about virtual addresses. So for the DUNS purposes and that type of thing, it's fine. If you do find yourself wanting to hop into federal and government contracting and SAMs and all that good stuff, those systems, you will not be able to use a virtual address for that. You have to use an actual address. UPS addresses, those are not good. There are certain virtual address companies, usually the least expensive ones, that are not really good to use either. So you'll want to do your due diligence when you're picking a good virtual address company if you go that route. Alliance Virtual is good. Regis is good. I think it's Opium. They're pretty good, just to name a couple of them. But do not do the UPS, because although you may be able to get some things, you won't get, you'll definitely get red flagged and kicked back as you're going up the tier charts. Again, you'll want to go to nav.com and make sure you have an account. It's free. Well, they have a free version. You can do the free account if you can't afford the other account. It's like $49.99, I think now. And there'll be a coupon code that'll give you like 20% off of that in the email as well. Their business builder account. All right. So after you've done everything that we've discussed, you have your online presence, you have your DUNS account, you've set up your nav.com account so that you can prepare. You can then start jumping into tier one. Now, building your credit without a PG, you're going to start building with vendors. They're called trade credit accounts. These accounts report to the creditors that we discussed earlier, and that's how you develop your credit scores. Now, in order to get an actual DUNS number, DUNS score developed, the Paydex I was telling you about, you'll need at least 3 trades reporting. So you won't see a score until you get those 3 trades. Experian business, they always start off super low. So like the first couple months of you building, don't be alarmed if your score is like 30 or 40. Just keep with the process and it'll come up. Tier one vendors are vendors like Uline, Quill, and sometimes you'll see on and off Quill will or won't report. But they did report for me last month, so they are reporting now. But Uline, Quill, if you have a decent credit score, Capital One Spark has a business card that's not that hard to get for those with at least a fair credit score. They seem to take a lot more people than like your Amexes or Chase Business. So if you're teetering on that, you're trying to get yourself together, Capital One Spark Business Card may approve you. They report. Now, Capital One will report to your personal and your business credit. And you want to be mindful of that. Figuring out if they report to personal as well, because you know that can affect your actual personal credit score, your FICO, your DTI. So you want to kind of see, like Amex, they'll run your personal credit. You do have to PG, but they don't report your purchases from the business side to your personal credit. Capital One does. Gas vendors, Wex Fleet, they're a good one. There's Circle K. Pretty much every gas station you see, BP, all of those, they all have business accounts and business cards. So, and they're a pretty good place to start. They'll usually approve. Now, sometimes they'll approve you with a deposit. Whether or not you pay that deposit is dependent upon you. Usually you'll see people say if they want a deposit, try somewhere else. If you don't have the money for a deposit, try somewhere else. If you have the money for the deposit and you can utilize the actual vendor that you're trying to get services from, then pay the deposit. But if not, like I said, you could just try the other vendors. All right, I'm going to check the chat. Fuel Man is good. I have them too. All right, so what you'll do is you're going to place an order with these vendors. Now, my suggestion to you is you document all of what you're doing. So if you order from quill.com, I would, on your list or on your planner or wherever you want to document, put quill, the date that you ordered, and how much you paid. And I say that because when you check your credit reports, your business credit reports, it will not tell you the vendor name. It'll tell you the type of vendor, like it'll say like maybe gas or something like that, and it'll tell you an amount. So if you keep track of the amounts that you're paying for the companies or paying to them, you can then go through and say, all right, well, I paid $70 with Quill, so that must be Quill. So keep up with that as you're going through your process. Also, you'll want to be conscious of the different rules within the different vendors. So some of them have a minimum amount that you have to purchase before they'll report. I generally tell people, $50 to $100 is usually going to keep you on the safe side of purchasing. And lastly, you want to, well, I won't say lastly, two more things. Number one, before you start this process, freeze all your personal credit scores. Just so you can make sure that they're not going through, maybe you didn't check a box on the application, so now they're going through and running your personal credit. And now you've PG'd and possibly gotten declined if your credit's not good. Freeze all of your personal credit scores before you start doing any of this. All right, and then, sorry, guys, I'm trying to get the question. How long does it take? So some vendors report every 30 days, some report every 60, some report every 90. If you're in the masterclass I have, then in the business building credit section, it gives you all those details. And I know you are. So yeah, just look in the business building credit section. All right. NAV Business Boost. I was telling you guys about NAV earlier, how they have the paid plan. They have a plan. It's $49. And what they do is they report to all three vendors for you. So if you did something like went to NAV and signed up for their Business Boost, placed one order with Quill and placed an order with Uline, you would have your three people reporting, and that would generate a Paydex for you. The last thing that you want to be conscious of is when you're paying your invoices. So remember, you're dealing with net vendors, and the date after net is the terms that you have to pay it back by. You don't want to pay it back too soon. If you do, it'll just go down as a cash purchase. It won't even count towards your trades. So I usually say a good rule of thumb is paying 7 to 10 days before the invoice is due. That gives it time to make sure it is going to be reported. 7 to 10 days before the actual bill is due, make your payment. Don't make it before that, because it's iffy on whether it's going to be considered a cash purchase or an actual credit purchase. All right. Any questions there? We are hopping in the chat. This time is flying. We're already at 30 minutes. All right. Once you get, I'd say 4 of the tier 1, 4 to 5, some people say 3 to 5 of tier 1, you can then go to tier 2. A common question is, after you purchase and move to the next tier, do you have to continue to purchase from these vendors? And you don't. If you don't want to purchase from them anymore after they've reported, you don't have to. Now, it's not on here, but if you go and sign up for an Amazon business account, you can easily get a net 30 with Amazon. And that's without moving through the tiers. So you'll sign up for the account, and they'll either send you an offer saying, hey, you can have the they're calling it invoicing terms. Or sometimes if you go to their customer service, after you've opened up the account, maybe wait a little while, you can just tell them that you lost the email invite for invoicing. And it's worked a few good times where they will generate the email to you. And then you can get your invoicing that way. All right, so now we're hitting tier 2. Tier 2, your Office Depots, your Staples, Best Buy has they just revamped their program, but they have one too. Sam's Club, that's probably the card that you hear about a lot, because Sam's Club has a MasterCard. And with the MasterCard, you can make purchases anywhere, and they're pretty generous on their limits. So and you can do it with every company you have. So I have multiple companies, and I have multiple Sam MasterCards. What you want to be conscious of, again, as you're going through the process of applying for trade lines, is you want to read the application thoroughly to make sure you are not checking the box to PG it, or you want to look for the PG box to see if you need to uncheck it. So every application you fill out credit-wise is going to have something about you PGing somewhere on the application. So just prepare yourself and expect to look for it so that you can make sure whatever you need to do to not have that marked, you do. Cell phone service, I have it on tier 2, but honestly, there's Verizon is very generous with theirs. Even with new businesses. So you could easily go to Verizon and get, especially if you're already with them, and get cell phone service. But after you get those 3 to 5 on tier 1, you hit tier 2. You want to cross out at least 3 to 5 more on here, and then you'll hit tier 3. Tier 3, you want to have at least 7 trade lines reporting before you come to tier 3, and then you come to tier 3. A lot of IBOs ask about buying cars. Yes, you can buy cars under your business credit, but if you're going to do it with just your company, you do need to have your business credit built. So like Ally or Ally, however they pronounce it. Financial, they're a big one. Ford will do it without you PGing. A lot of them will. They'll want Ally won't ask for all of your business financials and stuff like that, but they will look at your credit. And generally, you want to have at least 11 to 14 trade lines before you go through them. Some of them, depending on the value of the vehicle you're trying to get, may ask for like business statements, your legalization papers, and stuff like that. But it is possible to do cars as well as real estate in your company name. When it comes to bank loans, probably 98% of banks are going to want you to PG it. There are a few cards like Divvy that you can get, but those are not bank loans. That's literally another Net 30 account. But you're seeing more and more of these companies popping up that you can get. And Divvy is DIVY, and I'll send the link to that as well in the email. But they're really good for Net 30. You can use the cards to make purchases anywhere. I want to say their MasterCard, maybe switching to Visa. But you can also issue virtual credit cards on there. So like as an IBO, for those of you that want to pay a portion of your agent certification and you're not Premier, which, I tell you guys all the time, don't pay the whole thing. If you're going to try to pay something, maybe pay a portion, but agents should always have skin in the game when they're coming through your company for the first time. They're less likely to go through certification if they don't. Anyhow, you'll be able to issue virtual cards to them through Divvy. You can do that. I think you can do it through Stripe now too. Wells Fargo has a secured business card that you can get that reports as well. So like if you bank with Wells Fargo and you're building your business credit, look into that as well. It's a pretty good program. And then it does go to unsecured after a certain amount of time. All right, let me check this chat. I hate not being able to just look in the chat box with you guys because I'm on the PowerPoint. All right. PayPal as a business account, like a business bank account, I would not. And I like PayPal for the most part. They're okay, but a lot of things can go wrong with PayPal, and they'll lock you down at the drop of a dime. I would definitely get a regular account. So you wouldn't, if you have a regular LLC, and I guess depending on your state, you wouldn't necessarily have to redo your LLC. It would all just be about you filing the S or C Corp paper, which is I think it's 8223 or the 2553, depending on which one you're trying to file. The Facebook group is Get Business Credit Funding, I think. Where's my phone? I know it's Get Business Credit, and it should have Ty. Ty is on there. All right. Do you guys have any questions about those basics? This is, like I said, this is basics of building your credit. All right. Outside of business credit, there are other ways that you can gain funding. Now, for new businesses, it's a lot harder. Obviously, if they were providing all this funding for new businesses, everybody would be starting businesses. So as a newer company, it is harder to get funding, especially as an IBO. Because I explained it before, we're kind of, as an IBO, like the middleman of the middleman. So it's a little bit harder to put that on paper, which is why I say don't set your company up as just, you're all just Arise. Like, set your company up to where Arise is one of your partners for services that you provide. And like, you have several partnerships. You can have Arise, you can have ACD, you can have government contracting, you can have VA services. You can offer, you can have direct corporate contracts. You can have small business contracts where you're providing call center agents for them, or customer management agents, whether it's email or chat. Set your company up not to just be Arise, but Arise is just a partner under your umbrella of services. That will make it a lot easier for you to get funding, as well as pitch your company for other contracts. Government contracts. So over the last year, they had a substantial amount of government contracts going to call centers, due to them needing like people to call for the shot for COVID, medical, like all kind of calls that had to be made from the funding stuff that was happening. They had a ton of contracts. The government, they contract everything, literally, from the toilet paper that the government employees are wiping their butt with to the pens they write with. They're contracting everything. They procure everything. So there's a lot of contracts out there to be had. What you'll need to do, though, first is you'll need to make sure like you're set up in the SAM system and set up with a government contract. So it's like more than just like one or two steps that I could go over here. But Kia Lopez, and she's in our Facebook group. She has a group, and I want to say she has a class now on government contracting. I have to get her company name. I'll get it and then like put it in the email. But it's not necessarily 100% necessary for you to have your certifications. But I do strongly encourage it, because there are some things that you may vote on or go up to do contracts for and get picked just because you have your women, your WOSB certification or your VOSB for veterans. I highly suggest getting your certifications, and the SBA. So if you're woman owned, the SBA and Biden's administration really has done a lot over the last year to push to help women owned companies. So They have centers in every state, I think, except Alaska. And you may have to just Google to see where your center's at. It may not be in your city, but it's by the SBA and it's for women owned businesses where you can go. They will help you for free. They'll help you get your certifications. If you have accounting, setup questions, any business questions you have, they'll match you with someone with the expertise in your field. And you can ask all the questions and get all the help you need. So a lot of the things that they're charging for everywhere, they offer those services for free through the funding that the administration, Biden's administration, has pushed out. There's also a lot of grants through their system. So that's the other thing that you guys should heavily be looking for right now, especially in the times that we're in. If you're veteran owned, minority owned, women owned, especially those segments. Now, obviously, if you're not minority or woman or veteran, there's still grants for you. But there are so many grants out there right now. And let me find her name. There's a lady, her name is Shantae. I'm going to show you guys on the screen. She's like the funding queen and grants queen. She has a YouTube channel called She Boss Talk. And that's literally all she talks about on her channel is funding, grants. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can y'all see that? This is her on Facebook. But She Boss Talk is the name of her channel. And every day, I want to say, she's doing grants, talking, letting you know who has grants, when it's due. And literally, like, I've applied for a lot of grants based on her putting this stuff out. And I've gotten a lot of grants. She does assist with applying for grants. Now, I won't say she's free. She's not the SBA's Women's Center, but she's very good at what she does. And even with like the EIDL and the PPP stuff, and I did several classes over the COVID pandemic with walking you guys and kind of telling you about it. A lot of IBOs were scared to hop in it, but it was for us too. And you can still hop in the EIDL stuff. Don't ever be scared to apply for or look for or reach out for funding when you're not out there committing fraud to get it. A lot of IBOs were like, oh, I don't want to get it. Somebody's going to have to pay for this. Nothing is free. You're absolutely right. Nothing is free. But guess what? We're all going to end up paying for it, whether you got the grant or not, or the loan or the EIDL, or we're all paying for it. So you might as well get it too. Just don't do it on the basis of fraud, and then you don't have anything to worry about. Make sure you understand what you're applying for. Make sure you understand the stipulations of it, the tax reporting stuff of it. Pia's really great with that. You guys heard from her yesterday. But don't be afraid to get out here and get the money that's out here, because it's a ton out here. And as an IBO, you're a business owner just like anyone else. So structure and set your company up accordingly. And again, you're setting it up where Arise is a partner of yours. You're not setting your company up to just be Arise, because you're going to venture off and do other things. We all are. Good to do onboarding of your agents. What do you mean programs? Like the clients or like CRM systems? What are you referencing? And that would be Jazzy. Yes. So in the email that you're going to get tomorrow, because I knew it was going to be harder to put it on here for y'all to write it out. If you're not on the email list, then just hop on it, and then noon the email goes out. I'm going to give you guys a couple of grants that are going on right now to apply for. You'll get the Duns and Bradstreet information. I'll throw the SAM's information on there as well. Someone said they were interested in the government contracting. I have a PowerPoint from an SBA meeting that I went to for women-owned businesses for government contracting that tells you the process of SAMs. I can add that in the email, the link to that in the email as well. Now that PowerPoint that you're getting is not mine. It's from the SBA. I downloaded it in that one, but this PowerPoint for this will be mine. What else do you guys need? I like to put out what you need. I like to try to get it to you if I have it. Or what questions do you have in regards to building your business credit? You think you're part of the list? If you've been getting this week, we've been emailing every day, twice a day, the contest and the wrap up. So you should have 2 emails a day from us if you're part of the list. You need $1 million. That is no problem. You just keep building this IBO, get this funding, and then venture off into another segment of business. Let me hop and check these Facebook questions. So I will, let me get on this first winner. Our social media winner today is Jasmine McIntyre. You are our social media winner today. Yay! Congratulations. Let's see. All right. Let me see the questions that I got emailed in, you guys, because you might have the same question. Okay, first one. What do I say about virtual addresses? So we went over that a little bit in the beginning, but I'm not against virtual addresses. It's fine. Now, a lot of people that get virtual addresses get it thinking that it's going to protect their privacy. But in this day and age, honestly, you guys, they're just going to, they could just type your name into the Google and get your house address anyway. But virtual addresses, I'm not against that. They're really expensive. What do you say on that? So I'm gonna be honest with you. There is a workaround, but I can't publicly say it on this YouTube live. You'll have to catch one of my Zoom recorded private classes on that. I don't want to get in trouble. All right. Do you report grants on your income? Yes. So all the companies that are giving out grants are going to send you a 1099. They're gonna get the W-9 from you, and then they're gonna send you a 1099. So you will have to report the grant money. Now, how all of that works, honestly, I don't do taxes. I have someone doing my taxes. So once stuff started getting complicated, I just brought somebody in. So I'm not sure on that. That would be a great question for Pia. But you do have to report that. Building a decent website, how to properly onboard, and how to get paid. So with onboarding, what is your process? And actually, are you going to be in, because this is going to be easier done with you over the mic, because I kind of need to know your process, and then I can kind of direct you in the direction you should go. Are you coming to the Zoom session tomorrow night? If you come tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m., that's when the actual Become a Successful IBO session is. Then you can tell me over the mic your processes, and then I can kind of direct you there. And we'll also be going over a few processes. A Lion in the Winter and Jazzy Clean. All right, next question. How many tiers of business credit are there? Generally 4 tiers you'll find. Usually once you're at that 4th tier, you're at the highest tier. And you can just kind of keep building. What type of funding can you get with business credit? I tell everybody, you can get everything that you can get personally, you can get in the business. Yes, Crystal, it's a free session. It's open to everybody. And it'll be posted in the chat on all of the Facebook pages tomorrow. It's in the event section, and it's also in the email that's sent out, that's been getting sent out every day. So everybody can come and then ask any questions you have about your IBO. We'll be going over a lot of stuff. It's just like the sessions y'all watched on YouTube. I do one every year, like a big one, free for everybody. And then we upload them. How long do I recommend you build business credit for? You'll be building credit for as long as you are in business. You'll be doing business with other people. So you'll build credit. Yes, your business can operate with more than one. You can have more than one company building credit. So every separate legal entity you have can have credit of its own. As I said, I have several. So you can definitely repeat the process, rinse and repeat. Thank you, Jesse. So the link to the Zoom, let's see, when you create a DUNS, you should use the address you had when you registered your business. Yeah, whatever address is on your legal document is the one that you're going to have to use, because they're going to ask you for your legal document to verify your company, and they're going to look at the address. Now, you can always go in after your company is created, and you can update the address. You will have to remit legal documents, though, for that. But you want to make sure everything matches simultaneously across the board, and that's down to the name. That's one big thing that will get you declined, is if on your EIN, your dial company, and then on your DUNS, your dial company LLC, and then on your other documents on the account you created, your dial company LLC dot. Like, you want to just make sure everything looks the same on every piece of paper you have for your company. Yes, so this was a very condensed down, consolidated version of business credit. There is a lot more in-depth information. This is to get you started, because I get that question all the time. For the social media aspect, that's fine. You don't have to have the LLC. It's your legal documentation that you want to match across the board. Yes. Have I ever purchased a car? Yes. I had a restaurant delivery service, so I purchased a fleet of cars through that company when I had it. All right, we're gonna break down next winner. Our YouTube live winner is Sherry. Art. I have to ask you, because I picked the YouTube live winner now, and I hope I'm saying your name right. Cherie. Is it Sherry Meal? Got a quick question. Are you Sherry Tooney on social media? Because I didn't want to pick you twice. All right. So you then are our YouTube live winner. Congratulations, Sherry. I'll be reaching out to you with your prize. Yay. Congratulations. And then we have 7Ebony22 who came through on the Instagram. So 7Ebony22, you are our email winner. Congratulations. Yay. I need to get a horn or something. Any other questions about business credit and the IBO? How would you use your business credit to pivot out? So what I did was I started building business credit within my IBO. And then once I made enough money in the IBO and I coupled it with the business credit that I built, I got funding, and it kicked off my restaurant delivery service. And then once my restaurant delivery service started making the money it needed to make, I built the business credit for it. I kicked that off and used that to kick off the cannabis business formulation company that we had. The Facebook group, Cassandra, is Get Business Credit. It might be Get Business Credit Funding. Uh-oh. The email list, Crystal, you're in the Facebook Arise to the Top IBO's only page, right? I've seen your name before. Facebook me, and I'll just send it to you directly, the subscriber. What do you buy from Quill? Quill sells everything. They sell home supplies, office supplies. Y'all see the toilet tissue shortage is starting again. Like, you really can buy anything from Quill for your home and your home office. It's in that group, but if you don't feel like scrolling through the group, Crystal, just Facebook me and I can send it to you. Okay, A Lion in the Winter. Are you in the Facebook group too? Or do you have my Facebook page? If so, Facebook me. All right, you guys. I hope this was helpful. Beginning phases of building business credit. We're doing live every day this week because I'm kicking off coming back to YouTube and putting content on Instagram and stuff like that. So I'll be doing different classes for the different phases of building. So right now, this is a beginners. We'll then do, okay, you're past beginner phase. Now you're at mid-level phase. So just watch out for our social media and YouTubes, and I'll be going live weekly. I know I'll be popping up, and I am jumping back into putting out new content, more up-to-date content. So y'all hang out with me. I'll be here weekly. And thank you for coming tomorrow. Like I said, we'll be live at 5 with Daniel, but tomorrow night we'll also 7:30 p.m. will be that annual session where you can come ask. Yeah, Sherry, I knew you were when I was looking at that. I was like, it has to be. So you are one of our winners too. I'll be reaching out on Instagram. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be going live. I said you can ask all questions, your IBO questions. It'll be all IBO information from beginning to kind of going through and growing your IBO, onboarding, marketing, and that kind of stuff. So join me tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Zoom link is in the Facebook group. It's in the event section. It will be emailed to you if you're on the email list. It's on my business page. It's on my personal page. It's everywhere. So you should be able to get the link somewhere. And if all else fails, inbox me. So I want to see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for coming, and I hope you have a great night. Good night. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Crystal.